Hello everyone, this is the great Lord and Master Oseron the Eternal, or the artist formerly known as the Great Roberto. Alright, time for a video. Yeah, how about the ritual sacrifice of Prince? Although I don't think anyone's going to ever really prove that that's what happened, but it's so coincidental of all the things that go on, and the timing of it is the exact time of when a dark occult ritual would take place, and what a perfect person to use an icon like Prince. He's almost too much of an icon not to eventually sacrifice. It was coming. The way he bucks the system. It was only a matter of time before they finally said, he's going to be worth more dead than alive. And it's right at the time, he was still obviously healthy and great, but at 57, he wouldn't have too many more years before he started to show his age. And a guy like Prince, an icon with the claim that Prince would have, is not someone that you want to have just like aging gracefully and then just fading away like nothing. You want him to go with a bang, just the way he was. So. But who knows, maybe it was an accident. It's just all the coincidences, all the things that were in play at the time. The Queen's birthday, and they're killers. Dark occult killers. But anyways, for the reason for the video, the real reason for the video is not to talk about conspiracy theory. It's about an understanding. It's sort of a different way, in a way, to look at the masculine and feminine perspectives. A way that really kind of sheds a light on it in a way, in a real world functionality. So when you analyze your own life, you can see where you're deficient. And it's so simple at the same time, though. It's just feminine is receiving, taking in. Receiving and taking in is feminine. And masculine is exertion and expansion, expression of will. But exertion specifically, exert. Masculine exerts. Feminine takes in, like breath. Breathing in is feminine. Breathing out is exertion, masculine. That's why in karate they have the ki-ai. It's like ki-ai. That's exertion. That's masculine. You don't need to be necessarily loud when you ki-ai. It's more of this the push of masculine power is masculine exertion. So when you're looking at your life and you see, okay, why is nothing working out for me, or things aren't going the way I want, or whatever it is, or why your challenge is overcoming you, or whatever it is, you may find that your exertion level is either deficient or sporadic and just unhealthy in some way. Maybe it's too much exertion. How many people do that? How many people are just overachievers who push too hard and don't have any feminine taking in? If you look at men and women, a lot of women, of course not all, but a lot of women have a problem exerting themselves. And a lot of men have a problem receiving. And that's just, a lot of men, as a matter of fact, culturally speaking, men are taught to fear the feminine, really. The feminine, you see it all over the place. People are afraid because feminine is also death. In the Tao, the yin and the yang, the dark color is feminine. The dark color is the feminine one. The darkness, the death, that's feminine. The bright, active is yang, and that's white. I gotta think about something that has said that, because I know in the Orient the color white is associated with death, though. So again, that's something to ponder. Right now, as this video is rolling, it's not the time to do that. But usually darkness is equated with death, and light is equated with masculinity. Light, and so that's usually how it goes. But I do know in the Orient they wear white at funerals. So that's sort of slipping my mind now, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter. It's the exertion that's what matters. So using the male half of the power exerts. That's why men chase women. You know, they exert themselves for the woman. They push for the woman. They display their masculine power. You know, courage, strength, power, exertion, will, all that stuff they put on display for the woman, and that's how they do it, by getting her, by pushing for her, by striving for her, by overcoming the fear of approaching her, you know, or whatever it is. You know, you're showing her courage, you're showing her your masculine gifts by boldly pursuing her. You know, and then what does woman do? She receives you. You know, and again, there's another video that I need to make that I want to expound on this powerfully, but I don't want to get into that here right now. It's too powerful. It sort of goes hand in hand with the androgyne concept that I'm working with so powerfully. But there's a much deeper level to unpack this, but that's not for this video. Because, you know, a little hint, I guess, is that men act, you know, in lots of circles in this world, I can't even get into it now. I want to, but I can't. This will be too long of a video, and it's already too sporadic with my couple-minute dialogue with Prince in the beginning. But Prince was a great artist, though, so I wanted to add him to this. But the real point is the masculine and feminine dynamic and exertion of will. So one of the points that I'm getting at is you really need to, as a being, fall in love with the idea of exertion. I mean, you should be exerting yourself physically, mentally, spiritually, fucking emotionally, using the pentagram as your guide, you know. Water, emotion, air, intellect, fire, will, body, earth, you know, whatever it is, body, you know, they're all there. You know, the body, the mind, the emotions, the will, and then the divine guidance from beyond human understanding, that is spirit. That's what we have. The logos, that's the logos. You know, the logos is spirit. And eventually what you learn to be able to do is you learn to take your instruction from the logos almost exclusively. You know, now that doesn't mean you just sit around and think all the time. I mean, sometimes, you know, the scenarios of life will present people to you, you know, but that's the orchestrations of the great divine at work, you know. You know, they take the form of coincidences, serendipities, synchronicities, you know, all this, and it's just the orchestra of being. But part of that orchestra is masculine exertion. You need to fall in love with the exertion principle, exerting your physicality, your mind, your will, exerting your will, exert, push. It's pushing, it's pushing, it's pushing. You need to be pushing if you're displaying masculinity. And then on the other side of the coin is, to be feminine, you need to take in. You need to take it into you. You need to take it in. You need to allow yourself to die at times. That's one of the reasons why the psychedelic experience is so importantly powerful, because it is a death experience. It shows you what death is, and you need to be able to surrender to that at times. You know, it's a dance. It's harmonizing. Sometimes you're going to exert and push, but you need to know when to suspend that effort and allow yourself to take in too nourishment. It's like breathing. You don't always breathe out. It's the same thing. I mean, life is encapsulated by the breath, fractally, you know, and we understand breath in our world now is something that's vital, but you know, you can't breathe in all the time. You need to eventually breathe out, and you can't breathe out all the time. You eventually need to breathe back in again, and understanding those cycles and to be able to harmonize that reciprocating energy back and forth, boom, 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 boom. You know, there's a lot of, and then you start to get poetic with it, expressive with it, and that is what art is all about. Art is just poetic expression of two polarities, basically masculine and feminine, and the creative mind is what creates art using whatever medium it can get its hands on. You know, and that's where you start to see the complexities of life unfold like a tapestry. You know, just working with two little principles, masculine and feminine, on and off, you know, the ebb and the flow, the breath, you know, whatever it is, you know, receiving, exerting, you know, taking, even in martial arts, you know, there's aspects of the martial arts that are very feminine, jiu-jitsu, a lot of that. You're taking it, even, you know, when something is coming at you, you know, the motion of receiving is a light motion, you know, it's a gentle motion, it's like a wave, you're feeling it, and then the exertion is like pop, like an explosion, like lightning, you know, like thunder cracking, boom, you know, like an explosion. And the harmony is what you put into it, the artistic expression of that in the countless number of ways that can be expressed in the matrix of being that even we're aware of, never mind beyond our comprehension. So, yeah, okay. But there actually is a lot of videos I want to make. There's a lot going on inside my mind right now that I want to get out. Is like, eventually, one of my videos I want to make in the near future is about knowing your rights. You know, because we, as you know, especially here in the States, you know, we as a people here have forgotten our rights and the role that government is supposed to play, and you know, we just don't. I mean, it's ubiquitous. I mean, I really want to get into that and get it onto a video format and just sort of explain how I see things and how things, you know, but our rights are being violated, but that's a whole other video.